my shit want the newest drop.
What is going on, y'all? It is Casual Reacts, and today we are reacting to why athletes get naked. Interesting video title, so we're gonna get right into it. Video by Athletic Interest. Go ahead and make sure we recording. All right, bet. Let's get right into it.
This is Liz Cambage, full-time WNBA All-Star, one of the greatest players of her generation. Career earnings, $900,000. Earnings on OnlyFans, $1.5 million. In her first week.
Bro, already off the jump, bro. Because I remember Playboy Max was just doing a video where he had featured her in the video. And they were just playing one-on-one. It was just a nice little feature. But that put her in my eyesight in terms of like being in the social media world. And I remember I saw her before. It's because she plays for the LA team for the WNBA. My apologies, I am not familiar with the WNBA. I do not really watch the NBA like that even. Although I am a little bit more familiar than this. My bad. I'm getting out.
That's right. She made more on OnlyFans in 7 days than in her entire basketball career. She's not the only one. From track and field to bobsled, more and more pro athletes are joining OnlyFans to make a living. Even Douglas Costa.
That's crazy.
Now you might think the obvious. These athletes are selling their bodies for money, and the guys at Athletic Interest made a video about it to have fun with the research. But it's more complicated than that. We are not just talking about lower-ranked athletes, but Olympic champions, Wimbledon finalists, and Champions League footballers. Why would
That's crazy, bro.
join a platform?
You would think that like these people, you know, they spend their entire lives training to become this athlete, sacrificing so many things that a lot of people don't even realize they're sacrificing to become this person, and to actually be proficient at this sport. And they get to this level, you know, they get the awards, they get the accolades. The success is there, but the finances aren't there. And that's the worst part for, I think, a lot of athletes, and a lot of athletes don't talk about it. But I feel like, you know, I'm pretty sure that this is something they may have on a lot of football teams, for example, or basketball teams, but like a financial literacy class, because a lot of these people are coming straight from college or possibly straight from high school, and they're going straight into, you know, the NFL or the NBA, and they're getting a bunch of money and they don't know exactly how to use it. And they're just putting it right back into to the system. So
that is popular for pornography.
But like, with these people, it's just interesting to see they go through all of that their entire lives just to not be taken care of financially in the end of it all.
How much money are they making?
Because they make a bunch of money off these people, you know.
And what does this say about the current sports and creator economy? As it turns out, there is a much bigger picture. Welcome to Athletic Interest.
Hey, yo.
The OnlyFans business of athletes.
Okay. Got to skip a quick ad real quick.
Managed to do something that most companies fail. They took something people were used to getting for free and convinced them to pay for it. The numbers speak for themselves. Over 350 million users, nearly 8 billion in revenue in 2024, and a large chunk of that went straight to creators.
Nah, what? What? Bro.
That's $1 billion.
A billion. Just think of $1 billion, right? Just think about $1 billion. OnlyFans made 6.3, or what was it? $8 billion in revenue.
A chunk of that went straight to creators. For comparison,
in 1 year,
it's $1 billion more than the combined salaries of every NBA player. Sure, there are way more creators on OnlyFans than players in the NBA, but it's also a lot easier to start an OnlyFans than to land an NBA contract. This is no career advice, by the way. The point is, the top earners make a lot of money. Like Sophie Rain, who shared a screenshot of her yearly earnings. Minus the fee, she makes roughly $3 million per month. But that's still ridiculous to what this guy makes. Sorry for all the numbers, but we're getting somewhere, promise. OnlyFans has just 42 employees. That works out to over $31 million in revenue per employee.
Nah. That's cap. So you're telling me OnlyFans has 42 employees running the entire company, and they get paid around, give or take, $31 million per person from their yearly wage. That's insane. but it's actually believable. Like that would make sense. Craigslist, 50 employees, Netflix, 13,000, Apple, 161,000, Meta, 67,000. So it's the numbers do make sense, but the fact that OnlyFans only has 42 employees is crazy. That means these people can literally like link up together, sit in a room, you know what I mean, around a large round table, and be like, all right, so this is what we doing. You know what I mean? This, you got this, I got this. This is how much we made this month, you know, type shit.
That's more than Google, Apple, Meta, you name it. And since the company is completely bootstrapped with no outside investors, he took home nearly $500 million in dividends last year. So naturally, other social media platforms started to think, let's do subscriptions too. Elon Musk even changed the policy to allow porn on his platform. But subscriptions are only part of the OnlyFans business model. Despite looking like...
That's the weirdest part, because it just goes to show, bro, like the end goal for a lot of these millionaires, billionaires, more so billionaires, they don't really care, bro. And like, I'm sure we all already know that. I'm not telling you something that you don't already know, but it's just the fact that down to the simplest level, he's just going to allow more on X or on Twitter, the old site Twitter, just because it makes more money. So like, that's potentially completely... I mean, like, so many kids that are on that application that can just scroll through. There have been times I've been on that application. I don't even have X on my phone, and I rarely get on there, especially in public, because if you do that, it is over with. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you'll run into, and I know people are going to say, but the algorithm, it's what you got on your algorithm. Nah, bro. Random stuff be popping up all the time, whether it's like a beheading or something crazy like that, or just straight up prawn. You know what I mean? I'm just, hey. It's kind of crazy.
The social media platforms, OnlyFans runs...
And this is a social media platform. Like, children have access to this. You know what I'm saying?
Different business model. First, you won't find them on any app store. Apple's terms don't allow platforms with sexually explicit content, so OnlyFans operates entirely outside the app ecosystem. Most social media companies make their money from advertisers. But OnlyFans makes all of their money directly from their creators. And those creators get paid directly by their fans. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut, and the rest goes to the creator. That's more generous and more transparent than most other platforms. YouTube, for example, shares around 45%, and only with select...
That's not too crazy. That's not too crazy.
They're not switching anytime soon.
Because, I mean, regardless, it's a symbiotic relationship with all these softwares and applications.
Than YouTube or Facebook. But there's one key difference. Because they are not on the App Store, they don't have to give Apple or Google a 15 to 30% cut of every transaction. And that's the only reason they can sustain the 80-20 split. If Apple was already taking 30%, there's no way OnlyFans could afford to pay creators 80%. So, almost by accident, they landed a competitive advantage. Better payouts and more control over the platform. And it gets better. Creators use other platforms to go viral and then link to their OnlyFans profiles. So OnlyFans...
I mean, I tell you, there's been so many times, like, I'm scrolling through Instagram, and like I said, just like Twitter, it's not even necessarily your algorithm most of the time. Like, you could be watching a video or, you know, get stuck on a video for like 10 seconds. You know, it happens. It happens. And then your whole algorithm gets cooked. You know what I'm saying? Now all you're seeing is just like people being... suggested to you that have OnlyFans subscriptions. And I think that's just like, it just goes to show where we're at as a society. Greed, money, popularity, recognition, power, all of that completely eclipses anybody's morality nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's really sad. Like, I try not to sit here and think too negatively about situations like this, but just to see
they've basically outsourced user acquisition to their creators. Put all that together.
All right, so
the most unique business models in the creator economy. But here's the question.
Okay. So that was Liz. She was on the thumbnail of the video. I remember, like, when it started, we was talking about her. Basically,
athletes make
I guess that's, I'm assuming that's what she's showing. For the most part, people, they don't necessarily even have to show too much on OnlyFans. It's just the fact that they're putting themselves out there in that way. and people
Unless you're a
will
global
buy it just to
superstar
see.
like LeBron, Messi, or Simone Biles, the truth is most professional athletes earn surprisingly little. Let's take Olympic athletes as an example. The average track and field athlete makes around $15,000 per year from their sport.
$15,000 per year. $15,000 per year, bro. $15,000 per year as an athlete. That is wild. That is wild. What's minimum wage? Hold on. What's minimum wage? Because I swear, like, isn't minimum wage? All right, let's just say. I know it was like what, $7.25. All right, yeah. So let's. All right, yeah. So let's look up minimum wage, right? So $7.25 times 8, right? Times 7. That's 40 hours, right? Times that by 2. Right, we're gonna double that. That's around $1,624 a month if you're making minimum wage, and that's 40 hours a week, right? So this is how much you're making a month. Now let's multiply this by 12. That is nearly $20,000. That means athletes aren't even making more than minimum wage.
Who earns about $22,000 on minimum wage. And it gets worse. The International Olympic Committee, which earns over $7 billion per Olympic cycle, pays absolutely nothing to the athletes directly, even if they win gold. That's because the Olympic system was built on the idea that athletes should remain amateurs, competing for honor, not money. A rule originally designed to keep working-class athletes out of elite sport, and one that still affects how money flows in the industry today. We've actually made a full video about this. We'll link it in the description if you want to.
So yeah, I mean.
So how do Olympians survive?
Yeah, that's what I was about to get into.
A fragile mix of 3 things: salaries, if they are lucky; prize money, which varies wildly; and sponsorships, which mostly go to big names in football and basketball. Take the 2012 London Olympics. Usain Bolt made over $20 million that year with a $9 million Puma deal. Megan Kalmer, an Olympic bronze medalist in rowing, she made $10,000 for her medal before taxes and had to grow her own vegetables to make ends meet. And it's not just Olympians. A study found that 80% of professional athletes in the US don't consider themselves financially stable. Travel, gear, training, nutrition, it all adds up.
And let's just go ahead and throw on the mental tool as well, because it's not like trying to become the most proficient at a sport and one of the best, and performing at an Olympic level isn't one of the hardest things that you could possibly do.
Sponsorship money is drying up, especially if you're not constantly on TV. Which brings us back to OnlyFans. Because
this takes like a lot of consistency, a lot of hard work.
Fan base, but you're earning less than a delivery driver. Why wouldn't you turn to a platform that lets you monetize your following directly? Speaking of building and monetizing a following, if you're a creator, athlete, or business trying to grow online, you need to understand what drives traffic to your site. That's where today's video sponsor Ahrefs comes in. With their free Ahrefs webmaster, there is an ongoing tug-of-war in the creator economy. On one side, the creators, athletes, in our case, who produce the content. On the other, the platforms that distribute it. The question is always the same. Who gets how much of the money? Social media platforms make billions by monetizing the attention athletes generate. Think of Douglas Costa.
That's the thing, because I think a lot of people fail to think, not necessarily, because everybody knows it's entertainment, but just the fact that like athletic sports is just entertainment. Like that's really all it is, and these people are getting paid millions and billions, almost, of dollars to just play sports. Yeah.
Millions of fans, millions of clicks, but most of the value he creates goes to the platforms. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are great for exposure.
And that's just the weird part, because they're generating a lot of views and they're generating a lot of entertainment, you know, for all these different companies. And these companies are taking a large percentage of what these people are generating from us, the consumers, and it's going right into their pockets.
Help creators land brand deals, affiliate links, and sponsorships. But when it comes to paying creators directly, almost nothing. YouTube is an exception. It shares ad revenue, mostly respects creators, and rewards consistency. But even on YouTube, it's a grind to make a living.
Yeah, my boy, shout out Destroying.
OnlyFans wants to flip the model, allowing creators to monetize their audience directly. It's part of a larger shift in the maturing creator economy.
Yeah.
Creators getting a bigger slice of the value they generate. And for the most part, that's a good thing. More control, more transparency, more revenue for creators. But there's a catch. OnlyFans still comes with baggage. Yes, they market the idea of behind-the-scenes access, training footage, recovery routines, Q&As. But let's be real.
And that's what I originally thought OnlyFans was going to be. With, like, I remember when DGG started his OnlyFans, he was basically just putting content out there that was, like, showing people how he got himself in the position that he was in. He was basically just teaching people and using that as exclusive content for people to access, almost like a Patreon. And that's what I originally thought it was going to be. And then as things continue to progress with it, I mean, people had certain implications that it would be used for prawn, but I don't think they realized that it was going to become solely used for that. And I think with the company generating about $8 billion per year on that, it's clear as day why they would completely change their entire business practice or business model and solely focus on this.
Most content on the platform isn't meal plans and workout tips. Unless you're willing to show skin, the odds of making serious money are slim. And for athletes, that comes with a risk. Aligning with a platform still associated with adult content could harm sponsorship opportunities. It could turn off brands and eventually backfire. Some critics also argue that it normalizes explicit content, or worse, pushes financially struggling athletes toward choices they wouldn't otherwise make. It becomes an ethical question. Is OnlyFans empowering athletes to monetize their attention, or nudging the vulnerable to sell their bodies?
And that's just the weird part, because I feel like that's the perfect example with Shorty from the beginning, the basketball player from the WNBA. I mean, she's clearly been playing this sport for years, because I remember I saw her like years ago, and she's been great at it. She has a lot of fans, but they're clearly not paying enough because the WNBA as a whole does not make enough to pay its athletes. Now, is it wrong for her to make this decision and say, all right, I'm going to monetize different parts of myself? Personally, I think to an extent, but it all gets so complicated. I mean, we've gotten in to the point in this world where things are so complex that I can say how I feel about something or what my opinion might be about something, because I would say that it would be my opinion that it's not a good idea for anyone to make it OnlyFans. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, it's a completely other side of the coin of people out there who would say, oh no, but it is useful, or you can use it for, you know, business or behind the scenes and not prawn. But I don't know, man. Like, these athletes aren't really getting a lot of a chance. Like, the opportunities they have are great, but they can't all get sponsorships. That's dead. They can't all be millionaires. That's dead. And they can't all have sustainable income just from doing whatever sport that they're practicing or that they're an athlete in. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. And I always wondered that, like, when I was growing up, because I was interested in being an athlete. I played football for a little bit. And when I was that young, I wasn't really necessarily thinking about like finances, but I always thought like what athletes do besides, like, as a child, besides sports, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they just live their normal lives and stuff like that. But man, like, if you don't got a lot of bread, bro, and you an athlete and you paying for all this food that you need to eat because you need to make sure that you're still nourished, your body is getting what it needs because you're always training. You have to pay for the training. You may have to pay for a personal trainer. You have to pay for supplements because you have to take like the best supplements to make sure that you're getting the vitamin B, C, A, D, zinc, all of that. You got to make sure that you take care of yourself so that when you're in front of the cameras, everybody's not looking at you crazy. So it is a lot. It's almost like being a celebrity without any bread. And that's wild.
There's something to win and something.
But there's a lot of celebrities out there with no bread anyway. And a lot of rappers out there with no bread.
But the biggest winner in all of this
This is how the
OnlyFans
game
itself,
goes, for real.
because there is a catch to why so many pro athletes are
And
joining
with
the
all that
platform.
being said, you can see why people are joining the platform.
Many of them get paid by OnlyFans to do so. They are not only doing it to get the 80% cut,
What?
but they get good old sponsorship money from the company. Why?
Wow.
Because OnlyFans wants to go mainstream, and their way in is sports. They even
Bro, are you kidding me?
have a whole sports blog on their website where they report about OnlyFans sponsored athletes and teams. The strategy
Bad. This world is just turning really, really, really grim every single day. It's just small videos like this that constantly remind me why I'm always debating on if it's a good idea to bring children into this world. Because if they're trying to have OnlyFans go mainstream, it's clear as day what they're trying to do, unless they're going to completely change what the app is utilized for, which I don't think they're going to do if they're making $8 billion per year in revenue. They're just simply trying to make more based on that same business practice that's already working. So they're just going to propel that into more people. There's more potential for the youth to have access to this type of content.
is social proofing. Athletes and
then desensitization happens. Then pathology of
fans will be more
lust
likely to sign up in the future
bro,
as they see others
it
doing
gets
the
deep.
same. Adult content is still their core business.
Like the foundations of our world, I'm sure, as we know, have completely changed.
But if they want to grow, they need to diversify. And sports is one of the most trusted, emotionally driven content genres out there. It also fits the broader trend. Athletes building direct relationship with fans without relying on media companies or brands. Cristiano started a YouTube channel. Kylie Kuzma launched a newsletter. Austin Eckler built his own app called Experience.
See,
Everyone's trying to own the connection.
See, there's so many ways, and I love that, you know, at least some athletes are out there realizing the potential they have, leveraging their name and their likeness to, you know, gain sponsorships. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of them don't realize that they have that leverage. All they have to do is go to these companies, and these companies may have an open hand. They may have an opportunity for them because, again, it's a symbiotic relationship. They need each other. So why not partner with this athlete that can get my brand in front of way more eyes? Or why not partner with this brand that can get me as an athlete in front of more eyes, and more people will come to support me? So I just wish that's how it could be initially, but we all have wishes in this world, and not everything could be perfect. I just really hope that in the future, OnlyFans does not become mainstream. That's the main thing for me, because we all know what that's going to look like. And I think the way the world is changing and how much stuff has been happening over just the course of the past 4 to 5 years, who knows what's going to happen. So yeah, man, not necessarily a negative video. So I don't want to end this on a negative note. I do want to end this on a positive note. If you are young, if you are under the age of 18, or if you just enter your 20s, whatever age you are, honestly, stay focused on what your dreams and your goals are. Always remember that what you feel in your heart, what you feel in your mind, that you know is correct, that you stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Just because you see other people falling into temptation or falling into this because, they may be in a situation where they feel like this is the best thing for them, that doesn't mean that's how your life has to be. And just remember that all the content that you put out there on the internet is on the internet forever. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people, I said that like a million times this video. I feel like that's what a lot of them are not considering. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for stopping by, watching this video. Just a little something light. This is probably going to be one of my first reaction videos on Casual Reacts. So I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you made it to the end of the video, say no OnlyFans. No? I want to say no OnlyFans in the comments. Let's confuse a bunch of people. A bunch of people going to be looking like, no OnlyFans. What you talking about? Let's do it. I'm out.